Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah, amma ba'du. We continue with our class reading from the book Thalatha Usool with the explanation of Sheikh Salih Fawzan Hafizahullah Ta'ala, and we have reached the statement of the author, I'lam rahimakallah, إنه يجب على كل مسلم ومسلمة تعلم ثلاث هذه المسائل والعمل بهن. الأولى إن الله خلقنا ورزقنا ولم يتركنا حملا. We have reached the statement of the author where he says, "Know, may Allah have mercy upon you, that indeed it is obligatory upon every Muslim, male and female, to know the following three principles, or three matters, and act upon them. And the first one, indeed Allah created us and provided for us and has not left us without a purpose." And during this session, we will only deal with that part of the first principle, which is indeed Allah created us, He provided for us, and He did not leave us without a purpose. We will only deal with that section of the first principle. And I will briefly translate the meaning of the first part, because indeed we have dealt with this I'lam rahimakallah innahu yajibu. We have dealt with that in lesson 1. So I will briefly translate and briefly explain that one because of the fact that we already went over it already. Al-i'lam, grammatically, this is a fi'lul amr. This is a command verb. And when you see this command verb, meaning you must pay attention. You must pay attention. Rahimakallah, may Allah have mercy upon you. This is a dua. This dua is for the teacher and the one being taught. This is for the teacher and the one being taught. And as Sheikh Fawzan explains in the beginning of the book, he said that this is a mercy for the student and to have the student be more comfortable with the teacher by making this dua, and this dua will benefit the teacher and the student. Innahu yajibu, and indeed is obligatory. Obligatory, meaning it's something that must be done. It is something that if it's left off, then you will be eligible for the fire, and if it is done, then you will be rewarded. Unlike something that is mustahab or something that's sunnah, that if you do it, you're rewarded. If you're not, then you're not held accountable. Then something obligatory is the opposite of that. It's something that you have to be done, and if you don't do it, then you'll be eligible for the fire and you're sinning. Ala kulli muslim wa muslimatin, and that obligation is upon the Muslim male and female. Not just the male, not just the female, the male and the female. And it's obligatory upon them to know these three matters, and to act upon them. And indeed, that part of the statement does not need explanation, because indeed it is clear that you know these three matters and that you act upon them, and that thing is clear and there's no need for explanation. Now we will go into the first part of the first principle, which is obligatory upon every Muslim, male and female, to know. Inna Allah khalaqana wa razaqana wa lam yatrukana hamalan. And indeed Allah created us, and He provided for us, and He did not leave us without a purpose. And when the author says, Inna Allah khalaqana, and indeed Allah created us, meaning He produced us from non-existence. So before we were created, we were nothing. Before we were created, we were nothing. As Allah Ta'ala says, has there not came upon man a time period when he was nothing, worthy to be mentioned? Surah Al-Insan, Ayat 1. Allah also says, He said that in this case, however, your Lord has said, it is easy for me, and I have already created you before when you were nothing. When you were nothing. Mankind, before he was created, he was nothing. Before mankind was created, he was nothing. And the one who brought him into existence and created him is Allah Azza wa Jal. As Allah Ta'ala says, were they brought into existence without any creator, or are they themselves their own creator? Surah At-Tur, Ayat 35. Surah At-Tur, Ayat 35. And in the statement of the author, وَرَزَقَنَا, and he provided for us. Meaning, since we need provision, we need food, we need drink, we need clothing, we need shelter, we need transportation, we need transportation and requirements, then he, the perfect, he knows our needs. So therefore he made subservient for us whatever is in the heavens and on earth. All of it is for our welfare, in order for us to be able to remain alive, in order for us to use that to help us upon the purpose for which we were created, which is to worship Allah as the Wajal. Then the author says, وَلَمْ يَتْرُكَنَا هَمَلًا, and he did not leave us without a purpose. Meaning, the word hamal, it means something which is neglected and abandoned, which no one cares about. So Allah created us and gave us provision for a wise purpose. He did not create us in vain nor without a purpose. As Allah Ta'ala says, do you think that you were created useless and that you will not be returned to us? Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayat 115. And Allah Ta'ala also said, does man think that he will be left without any duties? Was he not previously a drop of semen? Then he became a clock. Then Allah created and fashioned him as a human in due proportion. Surah Al-Qiyamah, ayat 36 to 38. And Allah Ta'ala also says, and we did not create the heavens and the earth and whatever is in between them without a purpose. That is the assuming of those who, that is the end result of those who disbelieve. So woe to those who disbelieve from the fire. Surah Al-Sad, ayat 27. Ayat 27. Allah Ta'ala also says, Allah only created us and created these provisions for us and these faculties for a tremendous wisdom and a tremendous purpose. And it is that we should worship Him, and He did not create us like cattle, which were created for the welfare of the servant. Then they will die and pass away, because they are not duty bound, they were not commanded, and they were not forbidden. Rather, He created us for His worship. As Allah Ta'ala says, have not created man and jinn except to worship me alone. I do not desire from them any provision. I do not want that they should feed me. Indeed, Allah, He is the great provider, the possessor of tremendous power, the strong. Surah Al-Dariyat, ayat 56 to 58. Allah did not create us for the life of this world only. He did not create us for the life of this world only to live in it and play a lot, and eat and drink, and make ourselves at home in it as if there is nothing after it. To live in it like that, like there's nothing after it. Rather, life is a planning ground and a marketplace for the hereafter, so that we should equip ourselves in it with righteous deeds. Then we will die and move on from it. Then we will be resurrected. Then we will be taken into account of. Then we will be recompensed in accordance with our deeds. This is the purpose of the creation of man and jinn, and the proof for this are many ayats which prove the raising to life after death and the resurrection, and the recompensing and the reckoning. The intellect proves this because this does not benefit the wisdom of Allah as the Wajal. He created this amazing creation, and that He subjected this creation to the descendants of Adam alayhi salam, and then just left them to die and pass away without any result. This is pointless. This is pointless play. So the result of these deeds must certainly appear in the next abode. This is pointless play, so the result of these deeds must certainly appear in the next abode. And therefore, there can be from the people those who spend their whole lives in the worship of Allah and His obedience, yet he is in poverty and is needy. Maybe he is one who is oppressive and hard pressed, and who suffers difficulty, and this does not obtain, and he does not obtain anything from the reward of his actions in this world, and vice versa. That from the people there can be a person who disbelieves, who is a disbeliever, evil apostate, who roam around as he wishes. He enjoys a life of luxury, and he is given whatever he desires, and he commits that which Allah has made prohibited. And he oppresses the people, and he transgresses against them, and he devours their wealth, and he kills people without any right, and he overcomes, and he behaves, then he dies upon that condition. He has not been stricken with anything from punishment. Does it benefit the justice of Allah and His wisdom, and that He should leave this obedient person without any reward, and that He should leave this disbeliever without any recompense? This does not benefit His justice, Azza wa Jal, for that He has made the next world the place for recompense, good for the doers of good, and evil for the doers of evil. Then Allah said, rebuking them, Shall we make the Muslims like the criminals, just the same? What is wrong with you? How do you judge? So it's a column, ayat 35 and 36. Allah says, Do these who commit evil deeds think that we will treat them just the same as those who truly believe and work righteous deeds, the same in their life and after their death? What an evil judgment they made. So it's a Jathiyah, ayat 21. And Allah said, and shall we make those who truly believe and do righteous deeds like those who cause corruption upon the earth? Or shall we treat those who are dutiful to Allah just as the wicked disbelievers? So it's a Sad, ayat 28. This is not the purpose, and this will never be the case. So in it, the fruits of the deeds will become apparent. So the life of this world is the place of action. As for the life of next, it is the place of reward. As for the Jannah and as for the Nar, He does not leave us without a purpose, as apostators and those who think that death is the end of us think. Allah Ta'ala says, and they say, there is no life except our life. In this world we die and our children live, and nothing brings an end to us except time, and they do not have certain knowledge, rather they just assume. So this is Daliyah, ayat 24. This is the statement of the apostate who don't believe in the return to life after death and the resurrection. And this is what I wanted to present. This is all that Sheikh Fawzan presented about this first section of the ayah. And anything that I said that was incorrect for my translation is for myself and the shaitan. And anything that I said that was correct for my translation, all praise is due to Allah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk, wa akhir